World leaders backing Ibrahim Traoré's revolution. In the heart of West Africa, a young leader has risen, not from a palace, but from the ashes of a crumbling regime. Captain Ibrahim Traoré, once a name whispered in military ranks, now roars across continents, sparking fear in some and admiration in others. But this isn't just Burkina Faso's revolution anymore. It's becoming a global chess match, and some of the world's most powerful leaders are quietly choosing sides. Who is truly backing Ibrahim Traoré? And why are these alliances being formed in shadows? Tonight, we dive into the heart of a geopolitical storm and what it means for the future of Africa and the balance of global power. This is the story of a revolution that's shaking thrones far beyond its borders. Why is Traoré's revolution gaining attention? Traoré's revolution is rooted in a desire to break free from neocolonialism, the system where former colonial powers like France maintain economic and political control over African nations. He has criticized the CFA franc, a currency used by several francophone African countries, calling it a tool that maintains Africa in slavery. Along with Mali and Niger, Burkina Faso has left the Western-backed economic community of West African states, ECOWAS, to form the Alliance of Sahel States, a new bloc focused on African unity and independence. His bold moves have resonated with Africa's youth, who make up a large portion of the continent's population. With a median age of 17.7 in Burkina Faso, Traoré's young, charismatic leadership speaks directly to those frustrated by poverty, corruption, and foreign interference. His speeches, like the one at the 2023 Russia-Africa Summit, where he urged African leaders to stop acting like puppets of imperialists, have gone viral, amplifying his message globally. However, Traoré's revolution faces challenges. Burkina Faso is plagued by jihadist violence, with over 60% of the country outside government control. More than 2.1 million people are displaced, and nearly 6.5 million need humanitarian aid. Critics argue that his anti-democratic approach, including cracking down on journalists and opposition, could undermine his goals. Despite these issues, his vision of a self-reliant Africa has won him allies worldwide. World leaders supporting Traoré. While Western nations have criticized Traoré, several leaders and countries have openly backed his revolution. Their support stems from shared goals of resisting Western dominance, promoting sovereignty, and fostering partnerships based on mutual respect. Russia. Russia has emerged as one of Traoré's strongest allies. After expelling French troops in February 2023, Traoré turned to Russia for military support. Russian mercenaries, reportedly from the Wagner Group, have been seen in Burkina Faso, providing security for Traoré and training local forces. In July 2023, Traoré attended the Russia-Africa Summit in St. Petersburg, where he met President Vladimir Putin. Russian media has heavily promoted Traoré's pan-Africanist image, amplifying his speeches to a global audience. On October 9, 2024, a post on X claiming to be from Vladimir Putin expressed support for Traoré and pledged to increase Russia's strategic partnership with African countries. While the authenticity of the post cannot be verified, it reflects the growing ties between Russia and Burkina Faso. Russia's interest in Traoré aligns with its broader strategy to counter Western influence in Africa, especially in resource-rich nations like Burkina Faso, which produces gold, zinc, and manganese. Venezuela. Venezuela, a South American nation with a history of resisting U.S. influence, has also voiced support for Traoré. On July 22, 2024, an X post claimed that Venezuela and other South American countries expressed solidarity with Traoré's anti-colonial war and vowed to provide assistance if Burkina Faso faced external attacks. While this claim lacks official confirmation, Venezuela's government, led by President Nicolas Maduro, shares Traoré's anti-imperialist stance. Both leaders reject Western economic models and advocate for state control over natural resources, making their alliance ideologically consistent. Mali and Niger within Africa. The military leaders of Mali and Niger, Assimi Goïta and Abdourahmane Chiani, are key supporters of Traoré. Together they formed the Alliance of Sahel States in 2023, a bloc aimed at countering Western influence and fostering regional cooperation. This alliance reflects a broader trend of military-led governments in the Sahel region rejecting French and U.S. partnerships in favor of self-reliance and alliances with countries like Russia and Turkey. In April 2025, Traoré, Goïta, and Chiani attended commemorations in Russia where they expressed a shared commitment to fighting terrorism and imperialism. North Korea. North Korea, under the leadership of Kim Jong-un, has reportedly expressed support for Ibrahim Traoré's revolution in Burkina Faso, aligning with Traoré's anti-imperialist stance and his efforts to distance the country from Western influence. Kim's regime, known for its isolationist policies and nuclear ambitions, sees strategic value in backing Traoré's military-led government, which has forged ties with Russia and other non-Western powers. This support, highlighted in posts on X, reflects North Korea's broader geopolitical strategy to counter Western dominance by aligning with emerging anti-Western leaders in Africa. However, these claims lack official confirmation from North Korean state media and should be treated as inconclusive. Zimbabwean activists. While not a government, Zimbabwean activist Linda Tsungirirai Masarira, president of the Labor Economists and African Democrats Lead, has publicly endorsed Traoré. On May 4, 2025, Masarira praised Traoré's leadership, calling him a revolutionary beacon and comparing him to Thomas Sankara. She urged African states and the diaspora to unite behind Traoré's vision of sovereignty and resource control. Her support highlights the grassroots enthusiasm for Traoré's revolution, especially among Pan-Africanist movements. Why do these leaders support Traoré? The leaders backing Traoré share common motivations. Anti-imperialism, Russia, Venezuela, Mali, and Niger all oppose Western dominance, particularly from the U.S. and France. Traoré's expulsion of French troops and rejection of Western aid aligned with their own struggles against neocolonialism. Resource sovereignty. Traoré's nationalization of gold mines and plans to build a state-controlled gold refinery resonate with leaders who prioritize control over natural resources. For example, Venezuela's oil nationalization mirrors Burkina Faso's gold policies. Youth appeal. Traoré's popularity among Africa's youth inspires leaders in countries with young populations, like Mali and Niger, where median ages are similarly low. His media-savvy approach, amplified by social media, makes him a role model for a new generation of leaders. Geopolitical strategy for Russia. Supporting Traoré is part of a broader effort to gain influence in Africa, especially in the Sahel, where France's presence is waning. By backing Traoré, Russia secures access to Burkina Faso's resources and a strategic ally in the region. Challenges and criticisms. Despite global support, Ibrahim Traoré's revolution in Burkina Faso faces challenges. Since 2022, jihadist attacks have surged 20%, with deaths nearly doubling from 3,621 to 6,389 by 2024. Critics argue Traoré's anti-imperialist rhetoric overshadows governance and security failures. His regime is accused of human rights abuses, including abducting and conscripting critics like journalists and judges to fight insurgents. This raises doubts about the revolution's popularity, suggesting reliance on fear. Western nations, notably the U.S. and France, criticized Traoré's Russian ties and anti-democratic actions. In 2025, U.S. General Langley accused Traoré of misusing gold reserves, while France's Macron called his alliances baroque, highlighting tensions with former allies. The future of Traoré's revolution. Ibrahim Traoré's revolution is at a crossroads. His vision of a self-reliant, united Africa has inspired millions and won him allies in Russia, Venezuela, Mali, Niger, and among African activists. However, the challenges of governing a country torn by insurgency, poverty, and displacement are immense. His ability to deliver on promises of security, economic growth, and food sovereignty will determine whether his revolution endures. For now, Traoré remains a polarizing figure, a hero to those who see him as Africa's liberator and a tyrant to those who fear his authoritarian tactics. As he continues to reshape Burkina Faso and influence the continent, the world watches closely. Will Traoré fulfill Sankara's dream of a free and prosperous Africa, or will his revolution falter under the weight of its challenges? Only time will tell, but one thing is clear. Traoré's movement has ignited a spark that could change Africa's future. Ibrahim Traoré's revolution isn't just about Burkina Faso, it's a spark, one that could ignite a broader movement across Africa and beyond. With powerful allies watching, waiting, or silently cheering, the stakes have never been higher. If this story opened your eyes, don't let it stop here. Hit that like button, subscribe for more deep dives into global power shifts, and turn on notifications so you never miss the stories they don't want you to hear. History is being written right now. The question is, are you watching closely enough to understand it?